Hi all, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in this world. We are here today for our SAP IBP 2211 release, and me and Sander, have picked a few highlights which we want to show you and we want to tell you about it. We have picked handily 5 features which we will discuss today. We have a rule-based master data maintenance option. We have value-based sorting in the Excel UI. We have analytic stories which IBP has introduced. We have a new app to maintain the job users, and we also have calendar key figures. So let's take a look at one of each of these topics, and we will shortly tease you what they can bring you and what value they can pose for your organization.
Okay, let's start with the rule-based master data maintenance. It's a new feature provided by SAP, and it's an easy way to enhance your master data and to improve its data quality. Let's say, for example, we all know you can do mass changes in the Excel UI, but this is all manual labor, and this invites human errors. By providing this new feature and maintaining master data based on the rules, we can avoid human errors, and of course, via the automation of this mass update, we can significantly reduce the integration effort as provided, as done with the CPIDS.
See, looks like a very interesting feature. Do you think we have something in the system that you can show?
Definitely. We provided a little demo, and in the demo, you'll see first we go to the master data, which is a fairly simple demo. So in the production master data, you can see we don't have basic unit of base unit of measure description. So what we do is we define a rule, we predefine it for this demo, we fill unit of measure description, and what we just have to do is we have to link the unit of measure description from the product master data, and we link it to the unit of measure 2 description in the unit of measure 2 master data. To be honest, it's quite complicated to set up these rules, but once it's set up, it's very easy to run the rule-based master data maintenance job. So we just fill in our parameters, we define or we click our rule, insert update, just update the planning area. And once this is scheduled, it only takes a few seconds. You'll see it's immediately finished within 3 seconds. And after it's finished, we go back to our master data, we do a refresh, and you can immediately see our base unit of measure description is filled in. So kgs get kilogram and PC get pieces. So it's fairly easy. And
I think we have several use cases where we can,
I think so
as
as
you
well.
said,
Yeah.
reduce the manual labor and indeed reduce errors. The master data is, of course, very important. So we will definitely take this on board. Definitely interesting for the customers to take into account in the upcoming months, let's say.
Yes.
Shall we go to the next one?
I think so. So the next topic we will briefly introduce is the value-based sorting feature in the new Excel add-in. So you define some alerts or profit key figures, and you want to see your top sellers at the top of your planning view. This is now possible via the value-based sorting. You can define this based on single periods, for example, the year of 2023, or on multiple periods in which you will take an aggregation. Once the sorting rule is created, you can also save it for later use, so you don't have to constantly recreate your sorting rules.
Let's look at the view in the Excel UL, shall we?
Yes. So you can see here, we define a sorting rule based on consensus demand plan profit. And we go from descending, so our top profit combinations will be at the top, and our lower profit combinations will be at the bottom. You can see we defined in the time aggregation of the year 2022 from the calendar week 36 onwards. So at the top, you'll see our top profits of the next rolling year, and at the bottom, our lower profit combinations.
It will definitely very useful for the users to focus their attention on the top combination, that they can easily see the top combination at the top of their views without having to filter manually or to scroll down lots of lines, I think. So definitely useful feature. All right, let's move on to the next one, Sander, shall we?
So the next topic is quite an extensive topic, and it's a complete overhaul of the analytics. So SAP now created the Analytics Stories app, in which you can easily create charts, tables, images, to create a story around your visualization of your data. A major feature here is that we get consistent reporting experience between SAP applications. So the design has a complete overhaul. Additionally, SAP provided a flexible option to create calculations on top of your data model. So previously, for example, we create an alert. You have to create a key figure. You have to activate your planning area. But right now, you can create your alert on the spot and visualize it against your data. And of course, as was previously the case, the analytics are best in class for analysis and visualization of your data.
SAP has a nice video of it, I think.
Yes, SAP has a nice video. As I said, it's quite an extensive topic, so we suggest you go look at their demo. It's around 7 minutes, and it will be linked somewhere with this video.
All right, thank you very much, Sander. You can take a rest. I will take over. So next on the board, we have a new app by SAP. We have the Maintain Job Users app. First of all, this app can give you a very nice, quick, easy overview of all your scheduled jobs within your system, also indicating when they are next scheduled. So the next planning run time will also be indicated, date and time. Furthermore, this also gives you a very easy way to change the ownership of a running application job. Now, you may ask why this would be important or why this would be relevant. Well, this is a very good use case in case you have certain users scheduling jobs. Suppose that certain users might want to leave the company in a certain time bucket, let's say, then you can make sure that the job continuity is ensured by, for example, linking all the jobs that we have in the system to one central user, which is like a non-expiring user, which is always relevant and always valid in the system. By doing this, we can make sure that we don't have errors, that we don't run into issues that jobs can no longer run because the users are no longer there or users have changed authorizations, for example. So there we can exclude all these errors. And also on top of that, once we want to change the ownership of a job, SAP automatically does like a preliminary check to see whether the new users have sufficient authorizations as well. So definitely very useful, change around the ownerships of a specific job, but also just in general, just a nice, easy overview of all your scheduled jobs within your system is definitely, I think, very, very useful to have and to implement in your processes.
We once had a client at which we had a problem with a user that was leaving the company. And indeed, this feature would have been very handy at the time. It would save us a lot of hassle with the easy maintenance of jobs.
I suggest that we even take a look at how it looks into the system, how we can set it up. So as I said, we have a new job, which is called the Maintain Job Users app. You can easily see and look for it in the web application of IBP. If we navigate to this application and we refresh our page, we will easily see that we have a list of jobs which is currently running in the system. So in this case, we have 3 scheduled jobs. Their next planned run is indicated. So the one is starting next week. Some of them are starting next month. And you can also easily see who is currently the owner of the job. Now you can easily select once or multiple jobs at once and change the owner by clicking the change owner and looking for a colleague, a fellow colleague, which is now being the responsible for the job. You can easily see here that SAP does a check and it tells me, look, the new colleague is valid to run this job or to take the ownership of this one specific job. You can have then also, again, the nice overview showing you that the job owner of this specific job has changed from myself to my fellow colleague Sander. And now, if I were to leave the company in a few months, we would ensure that there will no longer be issues with the job not being able to run anymore. So we ensure that there are no errors in the system. We ensure continuity of the processes within our organization. So definitely something to consider, very useful to take into account in the next coming weeks and months for several customers and several use cases, I would say. Let's then move on to one more specific topic that we have highlighted that we want to show you, that we want to give a little teaser about. In IBP, we have planning calendars. We can use planning calendars for certain use cases. For example, for location sources, we can tell the system when a specific location should be able to receive goods. For example, during certain days, the plant or the distribution center is open and you're able to receive goods. During others, for example, the plant is closed and you're not able to receive the goods, let's say. On the other hand of the location sourcing, you also have transportation. During certain days, for example, it could be that the location is able to send out certain goods and during other days not. We also have something very similar for like a plant, a factory where you create goods. You have a production calendar that you can use. So you can tell the system, look, during day 1, 2, and 3, I should be able to produce. For example, the next 2 days, my factory is closed and I should not be able to produce. So that's why we use planning calendars. However, planning calendars in IBP are rather rigid, or they require some manual intervention, some manual maintenance to make sure that these calendars, these open days, these closed days are fully correct and fully integrated into the system. But now with 2211, SAP provides the opportunity to make use of calendar key figures, where you can easily change the information in the planning calendars that we currently have. You can overwrite that information which is there during, for example, an interactive planning run. So suppose that you are checking as a planner, you are checking your data and you want to see what would change if I, for example, work during the weekends, or if I let my factory produce during the weekends, let's say. There you can easily impact, or you can easily check what is the impact of switching between a non-working day and a working day. So suppose you open your factory in a weekend, SAP, you can use this interactive key figure, which you can maintain. And as the IBP system, when you run a planning algorithm, will show you the result of this day opening. So as I said, it's a very easy, quick way, trial and error, to see whether or not the changes have an impact on your results and whether that impact would be positive. Of course, it's very something to consider when running a factory, when running a process, that you suffice, that you correspond to your customer demand. And if, for example, it would be necessary to open during a weekend, then this key figure can definitely be useful. This feature can definitely be of use to certain customer cases. So definitely something to take into account, I would say.
Seems like a nice feature for what if scenarios.
Indeed. Some sensitivity analysis, some checking of the results, seeing running scenarios, running versions, etc. So definitely something to consider in the future. So we have now highlighted what we think could be very useful features in the future. If you want to know more about us as a company, or what we do in the domain of IBP or in the domain of supply chain, you can definitely visit our website. On the other hand, if you would have any further questions, if you have any recommendations, if you have any features what you think might be useful, also let us know by reaching out to us, and we will definitely and really happily come back to you. And we will also happily speak to you in 3 months, because we know IBP brings these releases each 3 months, and then we will be back with some more highlights which we will pick. Thank you for listening.